Alright, Foreign Current, Chapter 3200, Volume 1, Part 2, Chapter 3200, Foreign Currency Accounting Report, the Treasury Financial Management Chapter prescribes the reporting of the foreign currency transaction. Section 3210 for the scope of the applicability, Chapter prescribed for the Department of the Treasury for the requirement of the relief of the accounting of the for the reporting of foreign currency for the acquired for the either the purchase of the dollar for the commercial score for the perceived accountable officer for the purchase of the dollar generally for these currencies required for the provision of foreign assurance for the foreign agricultural development program requirements for the chapters applicable for the United States with the military branches. Treasury disbursing officer for the non-treasury disbursing officer have the type of the authority, Chapter 3225, authority for the prescriber, receive the prescriber, the chapter of the pursuant Title 31 Code of Regulation, Part 281, Executive Order Number 10488, with the date of September 23rd, 1953, amended for the authorized secretary transfer of the prescriber, the regulation, ministry of the purchase of the custody, of the deposit, the transfer, the sale of the foreign currency, all executive departments in the United States, pursuant to Title 31 U.S. Code 3513, Secretary of the Treasury prepare of the reports and inform the President, Congress, the public on the financial operation of the United States government. The set of executive and he should give the Secretary reports information, financial condition, operation. Secretary requires to prepare the reports. Section 3220 determine the definition related with the chapter of the volume TFM Glossary 3225 the reporting requirement. Section defines the reporting requirement of the government entity for the related with the purchase of foreign currency for the non-purchase of the foreign currency X 7,000 accounts. Each of the entities should report foreign currency they held with the United States on the adjusted trial basis of the U.S. Standard General Ledger for the account of the ultimate include with the financial report of the United States. And either the report of the foreign currency balance for the Department of State with the non-reachable to maintain the balance for the X700 account with the other than some of the Department of State provided the Standard Form 1221. This is the list of the transaction proceeded against the X7000 accounts. As part of Standard Form 1221, the individual of the USDO, U.S. Department, USDO, provide the detailed list of the transaction process, the voucher, the collection documents. Sometimes the voucher had to audit detail of the reports or the submitted of the Standard Form 1167 with the voucher schedule the payment. Individuals should have the collection the subtract with the disbursement from balance of foreign currency held with the amount of the appropriate appearing with the U.S. dollar equivalent column with the same form 2021 actual with the foreign currency amount with the U.S. equivalent, and individuals should be recorded with the general ledgers the collection and the disbursement prevailing rate of the exchange of the post stating with the month process with the rate should be obtained with any of the USDO. 322510 Uniform Reporting. The subsection establishes the rules governing certain aspects of the foreign currency and for the reporting with the entity with the achievement the comparability consistent between the reports similar cover the perceived with the intent is to proceed place prohibit the limitation on the content entity with the report with the modification prescribed with the reporting format the permitted mean with a special comment on explanatory notes to other device provide integrity with the basic data is maintained natural extent with the purpose of the departure of the procedure that are fully described with the material the modification should be cleared by treasurer. 322520 monthly statement of the accountable officer for the statement of the transaction balance of the foreign currency held outside of the dollar account with recorded by the accountable officer submitted with the monthly amount of the foreign currency will be saved with the foreign currency units of the level of the individual of the X7000 account transaction classified code with the prepared with the separate identification of the receipt the disbursement sale of the dollar transversion conversion with the third country currency with the other transaction classes is neither the ordinary copy of the regular money monthly X7000 file the appropriate prepared with the accounting officers will meet the requirements of this will to be transferred as soon as possible after closing the report no later than 20 calendar days thereto for the Treasury for additional guidance. See Treasury Financial Manual Volume 1 Part 4A and Part 4A 3 Chapter 3000 4000. Alright, 322540, 322530 quarterly reports of the accountable officer for the 45 calendar day for each of the quarter. Accountable officer will submit the Treasury of the consolidated quarterly reports, stating the amounts of the cumulative of the fiscal year of the ending with a report of the quarter of the foreign currency of the purchase of the dollar short of the also of the U.S. government amount reported will include the acquisition currency for the accommodation exchange with the transaction purchase of the bank exchange with the deal with the report will be informed of the listing of the under the heading country of currency with the monetary unit the number of the units purchased with the total dollar outlay with the random dollar outlay with the accommodation exchange supplementary with the consolidated reports accountable officer will attach with the report at the end of each quarter stating bill with the foreign currency the hand to hand with the dollar accountability with the report with the foreign currency receive the credit directly with the miscellaneous receipt except account of the current receiver of the such things of the fees and with the services that are immediately purchased for the appropriate fund of the operating need of the payments of appropriation receipts foreign transaction X7000 account with excluded each report will form a list under the following heading current currency of the monetary units number of units of the dollar equivalent and exchange rate copy all of the reports submitted with the Treasury shall be submitted simultaneously with the Bureau of Economic Analysis balance and payment of Division BE 58 4600 Silver Hill Road, Suitland, Maryland 2074 6. 3225 semi-annual statement of balance. The Treasury will comply with the central account with the semi-annual report of the foreign currency held with the U.S. government. The report shows the foreign currency balance of the current unit's dollar equivalents held by the account with the officer of the Garrett report of the entity included the currency has on dollar accountability with the statement that prepared the 7th of March 31st to September 30th each fiscal year with the electronic capability of the comment statement of the segment thereof the furnished to each of the entity with the balance are held. Each entity will review the statement over the agreement over the record the initial view of the return process if it comes with the 10 working day of the receipt of the Treasury of the balance represented with the report with the reconcile with the balance of the time reported period represented in and furnished of the Treasury letter stating the concurrency with the balance of the question descriptive of the balance of the identified with the entity during the review process of the whatever the non-concurrency reconciliation of the balance held with the entity with the furnished with the Treasury will corroborate the entity with the identified discrepancy with the balance and held by the work of the justice and the event necessary for the adjustment with a complete statement of the foreign currency balance for the accountable officer with the report of the entity agreed with the records and report of the entities. 6 and 32 2550 semi-annual report country-owned currency for each entity of the Ministry of the United States interest for the foreign government and country-owned counterpart funds under submit semi-annual report September 30th, March 31st of the unexpected balance of such funds. The reports will be stated with the country current units of the dollar equivalent submitted before the date of the return adjustment statement described in subsection 322540. Section 3230 with administrative foreign currency, the collection of the foreign currency for the collection of the entity for the delivered property for the custody of the account, and the officer for the credit for the account for the Treasury, unless the otherwise Secretary of the Treasury for the term collection for the purpose of the regulations that include the foreign currency for the acquired with the United States, the purchase of dollars, enable the non-purchase currency acquisition sales of the repressed agricultural commodity with the repayments of the loans of foreign governments, private enterprise for the contribution, multiple the defense system with the interest of the deposit, land lease surplus for the public property settlement agreement, the contribution cover the technical cooperation or trust. Informational media programs, other miscellaneous program, the accountability officer of the maintaining the records, collection by swiftly indicating the miscellaneous for the accounts and the other accounts of the Treasury credited with the receipt of the sale of the foreign currency with the further classification even to include with indicate the exchange which can be used for restricted purposes. Accountability officer of the collecting entity with the source of the collection restriction of the use of the foreign currency for the other foreign records to be maintained. 323020 with the guarantor of the funds, the requirements prescribed in the Treasury Financial Management Chapter applicable to foreign currency acquired by the United States guarantee with the provision section 10 to 11 of the United States Information Education Exchange Act of 1948 is amended in Title 22 U.S. Standard Code 1442 except the receipt of the such foreign currency with the deposit of the foreign currency account with the U.S. Treasury. 3230 with the 30 depositories. Foreign currency for the held with accountability off the account with the Treasury will be into the depository of the designated with the Secretary of Treasury of the foreign currency acquired with the accounting will office purchase otherwise which for the not immediately dispersed for the held served officer of the account with the entity was also to be maintained depository designated the Secretary of Treasury unless of the directive of the Secretary of the account will the office not required have secretary depository account with the federal foreign currency held with the account with the Treasury accountable office made with the current currency cash outside of the depository only purpose pursuant to the authority granted with the account of the Treasury Financial Manual Volume 1 Part 4A Chapter 3000 deposit in withdrawal of the foreign currency for the account to maintain the depository the name of the U.S. Treasury will be made only as directed by the Secretary. 323040 with the withdrawal of the Treasury account with the foreign currency withdrawal of the account of the Treasury on the book of the accountability officer for the foreign currency account with the carry with the deposit with the table with the name of the U.S. Treasury for the only for the purpose of the sale of the dollars and 2 with the transfer of the authorized purpose of the reimbursement of the Treasury for the required by the law. Such transfer will be made only by the direction of the Secretary of the entity with the required with the foreign currency for the Treasury will submit with the request for the Secretary of the indicating amount of the exchange required until the foreign currency with the name of the location accountable officer to receive the exchange with the extent of the practical desire with the scanning authorization will give them for the withdrawal of the account with the Treasury. 323050 with the transfer without reimbursement of foreign currency for the obtainment of the Treasury without payment of the dollars for the concern of the foreign the written with the certification exchange may be used with the reimbursement of the Treasury for the citing of the relevant legal authority incapable with internal agreements of the Office of Management and allocation specified the program for the foreign currency to be used. Treasury may transfer of the current currency for the entity without requiring certification of foreign currency allocated to part of the entity fund balance maintained with the Treasury with the therefore with the total accountability of foreign currency shall be included with the financial statement as part of the fund balance of investments of the U.S. government. Explanatory footnote is used available to the currents, not available for payment of the general obligation. 323060 unfunding. Alright, Public Law 8967 and 7 authorizes unfunding which allow the USDO with the foreign currency for the held with the foreign currency need with the other entities. Unfunding process provides that entities receive the foreign currency for the not with immediately need with the entire the program and expense for the accounting office the authorized agent for the must allow unfund all effective of the program accounts before purchase of the foreign currency of the commercial as a result of each of the entities should record receivable transactions to the GL indicating general ledger indicating the amount with the representing the US equivalent foreign currency for the owned of the entity by the Treasury. The purpose of the unfunding is twofold: make foreign currency not currently needed by the entity program and delay for the expenditure of US dollar to purchase foreign currency. To unfund all affected accounts, the accountability officer must reclassify using the CARS classification transaction accountability module for the process of the accountable officer for the credit entity of the program, the X7000 account for the unfunded account for the Treasury account for the 20X7900 advance for the unfunded foreign currency for the use of the funds U.S. government expenditure for the reimbursement program account for the foreign currency required for the particular program intended. It is necessary to reimburse borrowed foreign currency. The accountable officer must purchase the foreign currency the commercial U.S. dollar. The important note that these foreign currencies credit specific at any program account for the initial card expenditure for the U.S. dollar that may be hosted the government contribution loan the repayment. For example, 3220 and 35 translating the foreign currency for the U.S. dollar equivalents. 3235 10 general. The procedure prescribed apply with the foreign currency for the United States that has an interest in including receivables, country-owned counterpart funds except for the currency held within the dollar. Accountability counter officers for the foreign currency under the dollar accountability will look at the reported exchange rate prescribed for the community charge for the credits of the dollar received with the operation of fund account with the report purpose of the financial transaction balance with the basic value measured for the foreign currency units will be changed to the use of the dollar to come those treasury report rates unless the otherwise provided. This rule will apply with the transaction balance include, for example, the receipt of the disbursement, accrued revenues, expenditure authorization, obligation of the receipt of the payment, the refund with a similar reverse transaction item shall be translated with the reporting purpose of the treasury reporting rates prescribed by the period of the refunding all occur without regard with the rates for the original transaction adjustment will show is necessary to record the effect of the exchange rate fluctuations. Alright, 32, 35, 20. Exchange rate, 32, 35, 28. Agreement rate. The agreement rate for the rates for the provide with the international agreement with regard to the number of the unit foreign currency that correspond with the given the dollar amount with the purpose of the effect with the collection of the currency. To extend such rates for the not otherwise available to the treasury for the collecting and with the furnished agreement with the rate for the property of each of the month for the purpose of translation. For current foreign currency collection transaction generated under the international agreement, the translated agreement, the rates, unless the otherwise of the Treasury, the cancellation which if the concern refund for the return of the collections will be translated the agreement, the rates for the relay of the collection that has been stated on this basis. Adjustment will be shown the necessary to record the effect of the differences between the agreement rates, the applicable to the collection, and the Treasury report rates applicable to the balances. 32, 35, 20B, selling rates for the withdrawal of the Treasury accounts concerning the sale of the foreign currency withheld in account of the Treasury for the payment and double be calculated with the rate with the exchange with the otherwise available United States the acquisition of foreign currency with the official with the disbursement for the otherwise the determined transaction cancellation either concerned with the rate that would otherwise be available to the United States at the time readily externable. If these must consult with the Treasury, see with the concept of the dollar, perceive the real life of the sale of the foreign currency for the credit with the appropriate receipt, operation fund account with the book with the trade with the daily of the payment of the foreign currency purchase will not be charged for the operation expenditure for the foreign currency that is dispersed. In case of the foreign currency sold with the dollar sale transaction will be stated with the prevailing rate with exchange of the daily of sale. The dollar equivalence report sale will equal the dollars proceeds of the sale. Alright, 32, 35, 20C with the Treasury reporting rates. The Treasury reporting rates are the rates for the more which most foreign currency that are translated under position with these regulations. General rates are published for the Treasury on the first working day with each for the quarter representative of the latest available to the Treasury prevailing each for the country. The rate are established beginning each of the quarter applicable to the closing balance of the preceding quarter of the transaction, the balance of the ensuing of the quarter of the not to balance over the scope of the quarter. For example, the rate published from April 1st of the applicable balance of March 31st to transaction April, May, June with the balance for the April 30th to May 31st. Rates published in July 1st. Government the balance of as of June 30th. The balance for the close of the month. The opening balance for the receipt of the month must always agree with the published rate. That will be round with the 4 digits of the decimal of the country with the fluctuation in treasury prevailing rates is minimal with the par of the mean of the baby. Just prescribed amendment of the quarterly ride with the publishing during the quarter with the reflection significant change with the quarterly tab with the rates for change 10% or more with the establishment of new currency for the day monetization of the currency of the treasury will amount over the fluctuation of the currency for the 15 to 30 days of the calendar each month respectively. In the case of the third country conversion of the one foreign currency to another, the Treasury reporting rate will be applied with the payment side with the currency release. Same dollar equivalent be currently applied, thereby washing the dollar effect for the conversion transaction adjustment will be shown with the necessary to record difference between the dollar equivalent derived with the currency acquired with the dollar equivalent derived by translating acquired currency with the transport to the reporting rate of the country acquisition. 323520D with the uniform exchange rate of the translation foreign currency unit US dollar equivalents will be made exchange rate for the uniform throughout the government with the respect specified with the categories account with the transaction respectively given the periods of the time specified in 323520C. 323530 loans and certain other receivables receive the applicable loan, the other receivable original maturity 1 year or more referred to as loans which are denominated with the currency units repayable exclusive of foreign currency with the repayable the optional foreign currency if the option results with the debtor for loans denominated with the currency otherwise fixed with the number of currency of the units of the receivable the current value which should equal the fixed number of the receivable translated Treasury reporting rate described as the date of the balance for loans denominated with the dollars used the maintenance of the value of the agreement to create value is shown equal to the outstanding denominated amount of the multiplied by the ratio of the agreement of the Treasury reporting rate. Both rates will be off the date of the balance addition with the current values. Statements of loans outstanding generally show the historical value of the related to the balance of the transaction generated with one of the difference between the historical value of the current values as shown in valuation adjustment. Alright, reporting requirements of loan certain of the receivable described in the Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 1, Part, Chapter 4500, Section 3240, Foreign Currency Conversion of the currency. 324010 with the conversion of currency for the FS form, the 6911 foreign currency conversion with the transfer voucher with the report with the amount of the foreign currency with the Treasury X 7000 with accounts available to the X for the Naira, X for the currency country for the conversion with the currency for the country for the dollar for the supply with the non-restricted for the currency for the great enough to meet more than U.S. requirement for the next 2 years. The clue for the requirements finance for the restricted for the reserve currency for the currency if it's designated except for the Department of Treasury which apply with the concurrence with the immediate need of the U.S. Component not sufficient for the country for the declared action for the currency for the designated with the near actions for the Department of Treasury for the conversions are limited if the loan payments are Title 1 Public Law 480 of the under the agreement stipulated with the 2% of the convertibility amount available for these agreements as well as any of the future agreements. Convertible provisions shall be submitted with the Treasury on Form 6911. Each time the balance of convertible currency within X of the near X of the excess currency country reach of the U.S. equivalent approximately $10,000 when the official form 6911 is received the Treasury with the U.S. hold of the particular currency. One of the Treasury will transmit the form disbursing off the necessary action. Official FS form 6911 will be sent originally. One copy of the Treasury received the form shall be numbered consecutively prefixed to the any code. Section 3245 Foreign Currency Added Fund Accounting Symbol is the title of the description. Section 324510 System of Foreign Currency Funding Accounts. All accounts identified by the appropriate applicable funding group. The classified with the funding groups to the assignment of the alphanumeric system. Last 3 digits will be the sum of the block shown with the following table for the purpose of the subsection. The 3-digit symbol will be referred to as the main symbol. Symbol assigned with the account will determine after the consideration of the government relations which is over the receipt of the availability of the currency expenditure for the other purpose. The X immediately preceding with the main symbol is identified with the foreign currency fund with the handle of the outside with the regular dial with the accounts of the government with the 3-digit index with the number assigned with identified with the entity with the responsible to the account. The index number included with the first 3 digits of the symbol with the assigned with the account with the Treasury with the entity administrates all of the part over the behalf of the other entity with the account shall be both the entity index numbers of the first 3 index number the designated with the performing entity with the next 3 index number the designated with the authorizing parent entity with the foreign currency account with the symbol shall be assigned with the according with the guidance of the Treasury Financial Manual Volume 1 Part 2 Chapter 1500 Description Accounting Relating Financial Operations. 324524 Currency Fund Accounting Classification Sales Accounts from 100 to 499 Program Accounts United States Accounting and requiring operation 500 to 599 Holding Accounts 600 to 699 Program Accounts not requiring operation 700 to 899 Advanced Unit Unfunded Foreign Currency Sales Accounts 900 and 324530 Sales Accounts. 2 general types of the sales accounts are filed. The accounts established non-restricted currency which are available to sale with any of the government entity official either these expended dollar expenditure equivalent currency under charge with the operation the resulting dollar proceeds are credited with the receipt of the operation funds account with the non-restricted currency but is also available for the accommodation exchange with the sale of the citizen non-profit organization travel the other purpose of the selected country program accounts require operations established restricted currency for which are available to use only the connection with the particular program the dollar expenditure equivalents for these currencies are charged for the operation of the result of the dollar proceed the credit receipt operation fund and account for these program accounts of the further identified with the assignment of the 3 digital suffix. The main symbol is designated with the entity authorized to use these currency. With the 324540 program account for non-requiring appropriations. Program accounts not requiring reparations that established for the restricted currency for available to use only in the next particular program. These currencies are authorized to expend within the change of the dollar apparation within the group. The symbol is assigned the files. Main symbols through 500 to 509 are used primarily to designate U.S. and United States use accounts, and symbols 700 to 89 you primarily distinguish the country used in accounts. 324550, the holding accounts. Holding accounts are generally used when specifically available to concur with the donor with the point of the collection when available to determine the treasury issue for the transfer authorization provide move the currency for the holding account to one of the three categories of account described above. 324560, advance unfunded foreign currency will come out with account for the 20X7900 special tags for the sale of the account with the Ministry of the Treasury for the purpose of making available to all foreign currency acquired with included the currency dictated by specific programs not requiring appropriation by authorization either the currency with any of the programs subject to replace such currency within either the specific program. 3250 with the preparation distribution X7005 with the X7005 with disbursing off the report of the X7000 accountable transaction detail instruction preparation distribution X7000 accountability contained in part 4 of the foreign airfares manual with the issue of the Department of State with the concurrence General Accounting Office of the Department of Treasury. 3255 reconciliation over the foreign currency account with the entity must perform on a monthly basis reconciliation of the amounts of the general ledger foreign currency account of each entity should compare with the transaction report with the U.S. dollar international record of the supporting posting general ledger sum tools of the entity should give the reconciliation including the following: standard form S1221 standing statement of accountability. Department of State provide the detailed standard form 1221 at any of the monthly basis of the list of the transaction posted on the X7000 foreign currency accounts. CARS account statement of the official federal program agency for the fund balance of the Treasury, the information provided with the state, the Department to provide with the Treasury summary of the available to the CARS account statement of contact with the fundamental management branch for the discrepancy adjusted trial basis of the entity that shall be performed in reconciliation foreign currency balance of the reflective of the adjusted trial balance those reflective of the general ledger. Entities cannot obtain a copy of the adjusted trial balance without going through the government-wide transferable accounting. Foreign currencies held with the U.S. government, FC held with each other, and they should prepare for the reconciliation between reflected general ledger balance reported in the Treasury foreign currency for the held with the U.S. government published as the March 31st and September 30th each year for the context of the funds of the management division, financial report advisory division, financial report advisory division, Bureau of Official Services. And that was Chapter 3200, Foreign Currency Accounting Reporting. Testing.